What distinguishes cinema from other art forms? Painting is the art of shaping colors. Writing is the art of shaping words. Cinema is the art of shaping time. In my last two videos about Christopher Nolan, I repeated a phrase from Tarkovsky: cinema is the art of sculpting time. In this video, I want to go a bit deeper into what this means and how it relates to the Kuleshov effect. First, I need to explain who that guy is. Andrei Tarkovsky is one of the most important Russian directors. He didn't make many movies, but they were all very influential. But he had an odd style. His movies had only a few shots and they last forever. It isn't like these movies that have invisible cuts. Tarkovsky wanted the shots to last, to breathe. His movies had few cuts, but that doesn't mean Tarkovsky didn't value editing. He had a different idea of what editing is. What is editing at its basic? It's the order in which things are presented. For instance, let's consider a scene with two people talking. There are two ways in which it can be done. You can show one person, then cut to the other person, two shots. There's another way without cutting. The camera shows one person, then the camera turns to show the other person. It's the same thing, but without cutting, just one shot. But editing isn't just the order, it's also the duration. For how long should you show each person's face? For Tarkovsky, editing shouldn't be about informing. Tarkovsky says it should be about rhythm. A good movie maker is someone who can put the right rhythm to the story. This is what Tarkovsky means by shaping time. He says that each shot has a time pressure. The face of someone crying, for instance, isn't just information. It's not simply informing the audience that the person is crying. There's more. There's the aesthetic feeling, the emotion. The art of editing is in knowing for how long you should show the face crying. This is what time pressure means. If you don't let the take breathe, you kill the rhythm. And if you let a shot last longer than it should, then it becomes boring and it breaks the rhythm too. As Tarkovsky says, the distortion of time can be a means of giving it rhythmical expression, sculpting in time. You can have the essence of shaping time even in the Kuleshov experiment. The Kuleshov experiment is about showing shots and the order will change their meaning. You show the face of a man, then show an apple, then the face of the man again. Although it's exactly the same footage of the face, there is meaning now, which is that the man is hungry. The Kuleshov effect allows us to infer or to feel the intentionality of the character. Intentionality is that mental states are about something, toward something. For instance, I'm looking at the mug. The man feels desire for that food. It's no longer just the face of a man, it's a man seeing something. Like I said before, editing is not only about cutting, it's the choice of when not to cut. Editing at its basic is the order of appearance. By order, I mean the temporal order of presentation. The point is that cinema can convey meaning by changing, shaping the presentation order. A photograph cannot do that, but cinema can. This time pressure of a shot is subjective. Take for instance a Western movie. Just before the action there is a long pause, a moment of silence. The shot drags. That builds up the tension. When the action finally arrives, it feels good. It has a nice rhythm. Imagine they removed that previous moment of silence. There would be no tension being built, so the action would feel out of place. Editing is not only showing some guys and then some action. It isn't just about information, it's about creating an emotion. And cinema creates the emotions by manipulating the time. Of course, there are other tools to create the emotion, such as good acting and music. Music plays a huge role in the movie. There's an overlap between cinema and other art forms, but the essence of cinema is to shape time. The difference between sculpture and painting is that painting is 2 dimensions and sculpture is 3-dimensional. A painter uses color on a canvas, a sculptor molds a material in this space. The difference between literature and theater is that literature is about written words, and theater is about performance. Literature is not limited to what can be performed. You can write about anything, even abstract things. In literature, you can freeze a moment and spend pages describing the many subtleties in a smile. Painting using drawings and colors. Photography captures an image. Of course, a photographer can edit his photos, but that is the painting stage of the photography. There is a moment in photography, which is when you take the picture, and this moment doesn't have an equivalent in painting. Say you want a painting of a husband with his wife. You can pose to the painter, but this is not necessary. Now say you want a photo of a husband with his wife. They have to pose to the photographer. The photographer can, and many times has to, change the scenery so he can take the pictures he wants. Photography is similar to painting, but they are different art forms. Cinema is literally the projection of a sequence of photos. We use the word film because of old analog cameras, which use the thin coating of chemical gel that reacts to light. But the main difference between cinema and photography is that cinema is about movement. It's even in the name coined by the Lumiere brothers, kinema, which means movement. Photo means light. It's not a surprise that many people consider that cinema is the art of light and movement. And movement is about time. The difference between a photograph of a train and the Lumiere's short film of a train is that in the film, the train moves. What distinguishes cinema from other art forms is that cinema is the art of shaping time. This is not to say that other arts don't use time as an element. Theater is also about the passage of time. Music is necessarily a passage of time. But the material of music is sound, the same way that the material of a painter are colors. And the material of the theater is the performance of the actors on the stage. You can shape time in theater, but in a much more limited way than in cinema. At the same time, theater has this presence. The actors are in front of you, and this is something cinema doesn't have. It's not that one art form is better than others, it's just that they are different. Something like the puddle shot in Tenet, it can only be done in cinema. But Nolan is very obvious when he shapes time, except for Memento. This is why I think it's his best movie. In Memento, there is an objective passage of time, but there is also a subjective time. For Tarkovsky, the potential of cinema is in reaching that subjectivity. When Tarkovsky said that cinema is the art of shaping time, what he meant is shaping that subjective perception of time. The movie needs to give room for the audience to project their own feelings and emotions onto the screen, and mix their own existence with what's happening in the film. This is why Tenet has flaws. It lacks meat, it lacks this subjectivity. The protagonist is a blank table, but not in a good way. Take the movie Drive. We know nothing about the protagonist and yet we care a lot about him. We get emotionally invested. A good piece of art enlarges your life. A worker sent a letter to Tarkovsky saying, "My reason for writing is Mirror, a film I can't even talk about because I'm living it." Maybe we watch movies because in that cinema room, during those 2 hours, we live an entire life. A woman wrote to Tarkovsky, "Thank you for Mirror, my childhood was just like that. Only how did you know about it? You know, in that dark cinema, looking at a piece of canvas lit up by your talent, I felt for the first time in my life that I was not alone." Thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe.